Today in the crypto space, we see the market getting a bit of a dip, Bitcoin down below that $28,000 level, down approximately 1.5%, and Ethereum hovering around that $1,600 mark, however, down approximately 2.5%, while the rest of the crypto space is pretty much in the red, following Bitcoin and Ethereum's lead. Do we come down for lower levels, or are we going to get a nice little bounce so that we can continue going sideways within the range? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market when I use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that many people are talking about, and of course, it could be retracing, and we need to stay one step ahead of the market, and that project is called Kaspa. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. All right, guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description, and feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning material, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this general market. Bitcoin taking a bit of a dip, down approximately 1.5%, give or take. In the last 3 days, it has been coming down a little bit, down 3.5%. We've been expecting a bit of a dip, and in a way, it's kind of like healthy. It's kind of necessary. As we continue going sideways here, we're not seeing any bullish bids. We're not seeing any bullish momentum. We're not seeing any volume. We're not seeing any interest in buying at this price tag. So what are we going to do here with the supply? How are we going to get some more Bitcoin off the shelves, guys? We got to put it on a fire sale. We got to put it on sale so that we can catch some of those bullish bids and actually get the price, maybe getting a bigger bounce to the upside, especially once we get some hype into it, some FOMO. When the price gets a reactive move to the upside, we could actually break through some of the resistance. So I think it's a healthy pullback in the immediate short term. And in fact, I think a bigger, healthier pullback would be down a much lower. But, of course, my theory here, my thesis is based on the fact that we didn't get a big confirmation low on Bitcoin, testing those lower levels once again. A retracement down to about 20K is absolutely healthy and absolutely bullish, because you're going to expect a lot of people spamming that buy button and getting that reaction, getting that volume, getting those market participants all up in Bitcoin is what we actually need here in this sideways consolidation market. That's what we're seeing. We got to get out of it somehow. Put it on sale. That's what I say. Anyways, let's continue seeing what's going on with this market. Ethereum dipping down, and a lot of these altcoins pretty much following the heavyweights lead. BNB coming down, XRP coming down, and everything right now is coming down. And in the last little while, I've been getting in a very, a stance of being defensive. And if you notice, a lot of my videos in the last little while were like, look, we're reaching tops, take profit. Look, be careful, time to de-risk, time to take profits. And a lot of people don't understand that at the end of the day, like, if the market is giving you those signals, a lot of the videos, a lot of the content that you should be watching is about defensive, right? Because if you've rallied up 20%, if the market or an asset has rallied up 20%, you really need to change your lenses. You need to really think, I'm in double-digit gains here. Let me protect myself, because that's a good scenario. And at the end of the day, when you see conditions like overbought conditions, signs of bearish divergence, at resistance, and so on and so forth, that is when you start scaling off the top. Now that we've kind of dipped down a little bit, and I don't think it's even that much, let's be real here. I can scroll through this market and look at, about 3%, 5%. Although it's good, the bigger question is this a beginning? Is this just a beginning of a potential, flush to the downside? And if it does happen, guys, it's very important that you are not blindsided. It's important that you have a plan, that you're staying one step ahead here, and that you are anticipating that this has to happen. And if you're a holder, you have some decisions. Are you going to take it on the chin and let it come down, or are you going to take a bit of profit, trail up a stop loss, and let it fall, and then buy at lower levels? Obviously, the risk you're taking is the opportunity that you might might miss out if we do get a bounce very, very soon and rocket up to higher levels, right? It's all about risk to reward. It's all about opportunity and opportunity cost. And at the end of the day, these are critical decisions, and we try to use TA to give us the details and the probability, the statistics to give us some information to make, informed decisions. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is promised in this market. So you can see right now we're coming down, and right now we can't say the only thing that we can capitalize on is a bit of a dip. Okay, so let's continue here. You can see the market is coming down, and there's dips everywhere. I would say, like, if anything right now, if any of your any project that you're looking at right now has not retraced, be careful, because its time will come. Its time will come eventually. The momentum will kick in, and then especially if Bitcoin continues coming down, its time will come and will eventually roll over. Render coming down, it looks a bit green, but it did break that little level that it was trying to hold with that hang time there, down approximately 3.6%, but still holding okay. But nonetheless, look at the rest of the market coming down with red. Lots of red throughout the market, and the consensus is right now is be very defensive, be very careful here. It's only down 2 to 5%, I would say, on average, but we got others that are deeper retracements. Look at Rollbit, 10%, 11% to the downside in the last 24 hours. Guys, that's a significant dip. And we have Trust Wallet looking strong. Still, the trend is your friend, higher highs, higher lows, but are you going to wait for an actual confirmation low in order to potentially protect profit? And in my opinion, if you get any relief to the upside in the immediate short term with regard to Trust Wallet, even a double top, even a lower high, but it's still attempting a high, I would be scaling out very, very slowly, especially if we're getting signs of bearish divergence on these two tops. You know what? We'll take a look at Trust Wallet tonight. I'm going to put it on the list. And of course, guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover in tonight's live stream, I'm live tonight at 7:30 Eastern. That is the greatest time and place to make those requests. And I'll put them in top priority, and we'll come up with a plan. We'll look at some of these projects and look at some TA to figure out what we should be doing in the immediate short term. Look at these dips that are coming into effect as we speak. So generally speaking here, guys, you can see between 2 to 5% is what we're getting. And these are generally speaking on the larger cap tokens. On lower caps, mid caps, obviously those micro caps are going to be dipping down significantly harder if Bitcoin continues losing weakness. So something to consider here, guys, is that the dips could be really real in the next little while. So protect yourselves. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? Getting a bit of a dip, but you can see big picture, it's nothing much, right? A little bit of a retracement coming down. The only thing that we can say is the volume is pretty much shrinking, and especially as the price action has been going up in the last little while, the volume continues to come down. But what can we say? Is Bitcoin coming down even further, breaking below 25K? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Guys, I don't want to spend too much time here on Bitcoin because Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is taking its time anyway. So we got lots of time. But nonetheless, these two tops are concerning for me. The MACD is giving us a continuing signals of bearish divergence. Look at this. These two clusters are slowly coming down. They're smaller than this one right here, smaller than the previous, while the price action is going up. That's Class A bearish divergence on the MACD, given that the price action is creating a higher high and the clusters are making lower lows. So let's keep that in mind. On the daily, we do have that bearish divergence that's pretty much active at the moment. We don't have an EMA cross just yet because that would just kind of put the cherry on top. So let's be very patient here with this divergence, see if we get that follow through. The RSI is, somewhat risky to think completely bearish because it could be possible that the RSI gets into overbought conditions. If it gets to overbought conditions, we're going to get some confluence at the golden pocket 618 at horizontal resistance. So something to really weigh out here is your odds. Look at the possibility if the price or the RSI, the momentum, gets overbought, it's very likely that we reach for another higher high and we get to the golden pocket, and that's when we'll be looking for other levels of horizontal resistance, given that we do have some above, given the volume gap, a little bit of supply and demand, sideways price action, tops and bottoms everywhere around this level. It could be that we do eventually get that confirmation high, that lower high. We got bearish divergence here, we got pretty much higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI, and all we're really really waiting for some follow through, some confirmation highs, which are lower highs here, and then breaking of the 25k would actually be the most bearish thing ever, because below that we start to make lower lows and confirmations, because we start breaking big structure, low, 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 and we start breaking down. So let's be careful here. You know, being too bullish or even too bearish in some instances is not a good case. It's very important to keep very objective, neutral, and try to weigh your odds based on statistical analysis. But look at the analysis, look at the odds, you know, look at see if you have an edge in your thesis, and your overall strategy should include some sort of risk management where you feel like getting in is going to basically give you a significant amount of reward given the risk that you're going to take. Right now, you can see that this is pretty much a 50-50 shot. We can come down to range lows, or we can go up to higher highs and reach the golden pocket 618 as a target. So 50-50 is not a good odd in my opinion. We're not here to gamble. We're here to actually get in where the market conditions are in our favor. So far, not really there for Bitcoin. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at the project for today. Obviously, today's video is all about Kaspa. I like to talk about Bitcoin first because it can give us an idea of how we should position ourselves with regards to altcoins, and specifically in this case Kaspa, right? So if Bitcoin does go up for another leg, you can expect Kaspa to be potentially a hold up, at least go sideways for the next little while, even though Kaspa has been kind of quiet for the last little bit, especially while Bitcoin has been getting a few impulses to the upside. Kaspa hasn't really been doing much, which is not a good sign given the fact that Kaspa is supposed to be very, very bullish. I think its bullishness, you know, is already, you know, experienced. We already got it. So let's take a look at Kaspa. What's going on here with Kaspa? At the end of the day, Kaspa did very, very, very well. Okay, we can't deny it. Kaspa rallied up significantly. Lots of peaks and valleys with nice retracements and continuations to the upside. Now, where we are right now is giving us a bit of a sign of weakness. Now, we got bearish divergence, big picture. We're on the daily right now. Multiple drives of bearish divergence. In fact, we got 3 drives so far of bearish divergence. Usually, statistically speaking, all you need is 3. Sometimes all you need is 2. And for the most part, a lot of the times 2 is enough. 3 is, you know, pretty much the last one is a fake out, liquidity grab, and so on. And then finally we get that move, right? So we're on our third, just put it that way. Did we touch the trend line? No, there was not even enough strength for this, you know, line to be touched. That would have given us, you know, a 3 touch of a line, which a nice solid trend line. We didn't even get there. In fact, it could be argued that this scenario is pretty much now a double top, right? I know it's a slightly higher high, but nonetheless, the overall sentiment here is still very bearish, given the fact that the momentum, even on these 2 tops, given that this is still a slightly higher high, the momentum is creating a lower high on the RSI. That's class A bearish divergence, even on these 2 tops, on these 3 tops, whatever you look at these tops right now, it's showing sign of weakness with regards to momentum. Eventually, this thing should roll over. It should run out of gas. We're slowly running out of gas while the price continues to move up on residual momentum left from this impulse. Now that there's no more impulsive, there's no more gas, the likelihood is that we start to roll over as we get to the apex or the peak of this, you know, price action. And I feel like we're almost there. I feel like we could even get another impulsive move, another last wind to the upside, hitting maybe that 1.27 extension level. Very, very possible. Maybe even the 1.618. I don't put a high probability on that one, but nonetheless, I do feel like if we start breaking this trend line and breaking through this horizontal support here at about 4.5 cents, it starts to look very weak. We have a volume gap right here that could act as a bit of a reactive point. We come down here, get a reaction, stutter here a little bit. Some may argue this looks like a beautiful cup and handle, which, you know what, I must admit it does look pretty good. The only thing that we gotta also admit is that cup and handles only act bullish once we actually get the breakout, because in fact a cup and handle, you have to break out of the previous high, right? If you don't break out of the previous highs, it's just a double top. So this consolidation right now has to show us that the bulls are ready to accumulate here and give us another impulsive move to the upside. And this is why I still feel if we do break out, we could get a failed breakout as we have done in the past, even perhaps get to the 1.27 extension. And given the fact that we are slowly diminishing volume, how many market participants are going to be in this long position. It's very risky going long right now, given that this is showing us weakness on multiple drives of bearish divergence, and we are basically in price discovery once again, slowly losing our momentum, both on the RSI and the MACD, giving us a very similar signal. So for me, it's about risk management. I think it's very risky thinking about Kaspa in a very bullish way in the immediate short term. Long term, bull run style, 100%, really strong project, a great community as far as strength goes. I would definitely consider holding a bag, but if you're on the sidelines waiting to accumulate right now, you're pretty much looking at buying a top. You're buying in an impulsive move to the upside, and the likelihood of you being exit liquidity is very high. So that's what you got to look at. You're not buying bottoms, you're not buying here, you're not buying here, you're not buying dips, you're buying tops, because right now you're basically fighting at the tops, at the previous highs. So who knows, this could be the top, this could be a rejective point, this could be a scenario where we start to break down to lower levels. Guys, the level to look out for is at about, I would say, 3.3 cents, give or take, okay, 3.5 cents, give or take. Given this, the fact is, the market's going to want to protect this zone at all costs. The market's going to come in here and say, look, are we going to hold up? We do have a potential retracement that could get us to maybe the 786 to 886 and not even double bottom. It's very possible that we don't even double bottom. It's possible that we just get around this zone, get a bit of a retracement, get a higher low, still maintain the trend of creating a higher low and the higher high, and slowly maybe start going sideways here, and maybe consolidate big picture while Bitcoin does its thing or resets or whatever, because it could be possible that Kaspa is so bullish that it neutralizes all negative momentum. And what I mean by that is, and I've been saying this for the next little while, and it's very possible, and it's very indicative of price action that you do see in a bull run, where the momentum does a full reset to oversold conditions while the price action just maintains sideways stability, and that stability is a sign of strength. And as we know, Kaspa's community is very strong, the fundamentals are decent. Obviously there's still things that need to be introduced to the network in order to actually follow through with some of its let's say technological promises, let's put it that way, and developments. And in this case, we should see some good momentum to the upside. However, we just got to understand that whether we are going sideways or taking a dip, right now is still not a bad time to protect your gains. Why? Because if you're going sideways for the next little while, why do you want to tie up your capital for so long if you're a trader? You might want to go and look for other projects that are starting from the bottom and looking for that big move to the upside, while Kaspa potentially dips or at best goes sideways. If the market comes down, guys, Kaspa is not going to hold up. That's the truth. It will hold up, maybe go sideways, but it's not going to hold up its current trend, even though we're still making higher highs and higher lows, right? So far, a lot of us are looking at this as a trend as your friend, and it definitely is. The trend is so far your friend. But the indicators, the additional information that we are collecting from momentum and other aspects regarding market conditions like volume is showing us that maybe this momentum or this trend to the upside is losing its strength, and the bears might be wanting to come in and step in and get this price to lower levels. This is all I'm saying. The trend is still our friend at this current moment, but are you going to wait for the trend to go against you before you start planning and preparing and protecting your gains, right? That's the reality. Protect the capital, number one, or initial investment, and number two, protect those gains at all costs, because we're here to trade and be profitable. Without protecting gains, you're not profitable. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. I still feel like it's a healthy place to protect a bit of your gains. I wouldn't exit all my position. I would just be exiting a certain portion, 50%, maybe 40% of your position, in order to protect some of that. And then if it does come down here, when it does get a bit of a reset on the momentum, getting into oversold conditions, maybe even looking at the 4-day, because the 4 days actually looking more, let's say, complete, in the sense that look at the price action creating those higher highs. This high didn't even reach expectation, which was following trend, and we're still making lower lows on the RSI. Both on the RSI and the MACD are shorting bearish divergence, and the MACD is getting an EMA cross very soon. Red histogram bars to the downside. It's very possible that we start getting an impulsive move to the bearish control zone. Guys, this is what I'm just saying. Its possibility is now very likelihood likelihood that we get even a retracement like this as we have had in the past. That's it. And this is a decent retracement. We're talking about from here to here, you're looking at 30%. Imagine getting the 30% discount on your Kaspa, right? And I really do feel, honestly, the way you look at this right now, a test of lower levels at previous lows to confirm this as support is probably very likely. Okay, so let's get into the 4-hour a second here, see what's going on. You can see that even this is starting to look like a very symmetrical ascending triangle. It's not a symmetrical, it's an ascending triangle, which statistically speaking should want to break out bullish. So I'm going to give it to the bulls right here that statistically speaking, this is may want to break out bullish. And it does look like a nice cup and handle happening here on the 4-hour. Very clear, nice retracement within a very tight consolidation here, not too deep in comparison to the cup. This is very, very textbook. This wick went up a little bit too high. This price action went up a bit too high, but it's all right. The only thing that I don't like, we got a confirmation low, a lower high, which a confirmation high, a lower high, which basically could be the beginning of a trend of lower lows and lower highs. The only way we can confirm that on the local time frames, on the smaller time frames, if we start breaking structure and creating a lower low at about 4.5 cents, give or take. If we break below this within this volume gap and start breaking down, because there's no supply and demand here, you can see that if we start breaking down, we start to look a little bit more bearish, and we can in fact invalidate this cup and handle by retracing a bit too much. And I feel like 50% way of the cup is when we start to invalidate the cup and handle formation, and right around the bottom of the volume gap, we're pretty much there, guys. So be careful. I'm just saying right now, this looks like a bullish stance, but look at the bearish momentum. Look at the bearish momentum. We're almost completely oversold. So that's a good thing. Let it get oversold completely. Let it get oversold on the 4-hour, and then you have decisions. If you're gonna go long, that's the best time to actually go long, is when the 4-hour gets fully oversold with signs of bullish divergence. If you're gonna go long, but then you have to be concerned with the fact that we need to break above this thick white line to break out of this cup and handle. If we do not break out of the cup and handle, and there's many instances where we do not break out of these patterns, in fact we get rejected out of these patterns, you have to be able to protect yourself. So if we come down, get fully reset, oversold, bullish divergence, nice EMA crosses, nice signs on the MACD, everything looking good at horizontal support based on this volume gap, you could get scaled in at this level right around here. Very confident with the diagonal. Remember, I don't give a lot of a lot of importance on diagonals. I like horizontals a lot better for given reasons, of course. And of course, if we do come down here, it's not a bad time to think about going long, as long as you get all those criterias basically met. We get down to this level, and then if we do get that bounce, obviously you got to put a stop loss to protect yourself, because you never know if we do break trend and come down to lower levels based on Bitcoin's lead. But remember, if Bitcoin keeps on looking bearish this way, we're going to be breaking down. It's very likely, and you can see that all the signals for Kaspa are showing us that we should expect a breakdown. And if Bitcoin puts that nail in the coffin, I think that a lot of these projects are going to come down, including Kaspa. So getting long on a 4-hour is a bit risky in my opinion, but could still be done. Just make sure you put the stop loss, and then as soon as you do get a bounce based on this momentum, you have to start thinking about protecting yourself really quickly. Put yourself at break even at minimum, and then start thinking about maybe de-risking as you reach resistance, and then leave a bit of the position in and start taking profits at the 1.27, the 1.618, just in case we do get enough bullish momentum, enough bullish strength to actually break out of this cup and handle. Okay, guys, obviously this is not the ideal scenario. For me, I'm not getting along right now personally. Obviously, this is not financial advice. This is basically only my opinion on what I'm going to be doing in the immediate short term, and I'll give you guys updates along the way, of course, on the Discord here on the channel. I'll be releasing videos, but right now for me, it's about looking at how Kaspa is going to hold up at horizontal and diagonal, and if it's going to respect the trend of making higher highs and lower lows. Right now, this is not giving me that confidence. This higher high is not that much higher, and signs of weakness on the momentum show me that perhaps the bulls do not have it in them to make a strong higher high. Guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, do the channel a massive favor and slap that like button. Guys, are going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover, that's the greatest time and place to make those requests. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.